The love you feel in silence is already touching your specific person's heart. Imagine for a moment that the quiet love you carry in your heart is not disappearing into the silence. It is traveling beyond what your eyes can see. Every sincere feeling of love, every peaceful moment of certainty, and every time you choose faith over fear is creating a shift that is far more powerful than you realize. The world often teaches us that love must be chased, forced, or constantly proven. It tells us to look for signs, wait for messages, analyze every silence, and measure our worth by someone else's actions. But what if the greatest movements in love happen long before a single text arrives, a phone rings, or a confession is spoken? What if the invisible is already preparing the visible? Today we are going to explore a truth that has transformed countless lives. The love you feel in silence is never wasted. When your heart is filled with genuine affection instead of fear, with confidence instead of desperation, and with peace instead of anxiety, you begin to live from the reality you desire rather than the reality you temporarily see. The unseen world always responds before the visible world catches up. Every loving assumption you consistently hold becomes the blueprint for the experiences that eventually unfold before you. If your specific person seems distant, if circumstances appear confusing, or if time has tested your patience, this message is especially for you. Do not mistake silence for absence or delay for rejection. Many of life's greatest transformations happen quietly beneath the surface, just as seeds grow unseen before they break through the soil. Love follows the same principle. The heart often begins to change long before outward actions reveal it. As you listen, allow yourself to release old fears, painful memories, and limiting beliefs about what is possible. Open your mind to the idea that your inner world is the true starting point of every lasting relationship. The version of you who feels loved, chosen, valued, and secure is not pretending, it is becoming. And as that inner identity grows stronger, your outer reality has no choice but to reorganize itself in harmony with it. This is not about forcing another person's emotions or controlling their free will. It is about transforming your own inner state so completely that you naturally become a magnet for the love you desire. When you consistently live from the feeling that your relationship is already unfolding in the perfect way, you replace fear with certainty, lack with abundance, and waiting with quiet expectation. That peaceful confidence is one of the most attractive energies you can embody. So stay with me until the very end, because each idea we explore today is designed to strengthen your belief, deepen your inner peace, and remind you that love is often working most powerfully when everything appears still. Your story is not over. The silence is not empty. It is filled with unseen movement, invisible preparation, and possibilities that are drawing closer every single day. The love you feel within may already be touching your specific person's heart in ways neither of you fully understands, and what begins in silence often becomes the most beautiful reality of all. True love begins within before it appears. Without every meaningful love story begins long before two people share a conversation, exchange a smile, or hold each other's hands. It begins in the quiet world within you, where your thoughts, emotions, and expectations shape the way you experience relationships. The love you feel in silence is not passive or powerless. It is the foundation upon which every lasting connection is built. Many people believe they must wait for external proof before allowing themselves to feel secure, loved, or chosen. They think a message, a confession, or a visible sign must come first, but lasting transformation happens in the opposite direction. Your inner world leads, and your outer world follows. When you cultivate the genuine feeling that you are already worthy of deep, committed love, you stop living as someone hoping to be chosen and begin living as someone who naturally expects to be cherished. That shift changes everything. Instead of spending your energy worrying about what your specific person is doing, thinking, or feeling every moment of the day, you begin nurturing the one thing that is always within your control, your own state of mind. As your confidence grows, fear slowly loses its grip. The constant need for reassurance fades away, replaced by a quiet certainty that what belongs to you will unfold at the perfect time. Silence no longer feels like rejection, because you understand that unseen progress often comes before visible change. Think about nature for a moment. A seed planted beneath the soil does not immediately become a flourishing tree. For days and even weeks, nothing appears to happen on the surface. Yet beneath the ground, roots are expanding, strength is developing, and life is preparing to emerge. Love follows a similar pattern. The invisible changes always begin first. Your peaceful assumptions, your unwavering belief in love, and your decision to embody the feeling of already being loved create an inner environment where new possibilities can grow. Every time you choose faith instead of fear, gratitude instead of anxiety, and confidence instead of doubt, you strengthen this invisible foundation. The beautiful truth is that you do not need to force love into existence. You simply become the version of yourself who naturally receives it. Imagine waking up each morning already feeling appreciated, valued, respected, and emotionally secure. Imagine carrying yourself with calm confidence because you no longer believe your happiness depends on someone else's immediate actions. This inner transformation makes your energy lighter, your conversations more authentic, and your presence more magnetic. People are naturally drawn to those who radiate peace instead of pressure. When your specific person eventually reconnects with you, they are not simply meeting the same individual they once knew. They are encountering someone whose inner world has become stable, joyful, and deeply attractive. That quiet confidence speaks louder than endless words ever could. It communicates that you know your value and that your heart is no longer ruled by fear. True love is never built upon desperation, insecurity, or constant chasing. It grows from emotional wholeness and the unwavering belief that love is your natural state. This is why your silent love carries such remarkable power. It is not about pretending circumstances do not exist. It is about choosing to identify with the reality you wish to experience rather than the temporary appearances around you. Every loving thought you consistently nurture becomes part of your identity, and your identity influences how you perceive, respond to, and attract experiences. The more you practice living from the feeling that love is already unfolding in your favor, the less resistance you create. You stop asking, will they ever love me? And begin affirming, love is already growing between us in ways I cannot yet see. That simple change transforms waiting into expectation and uncertainty into peace. Your specific person may not immediately express what is happening within them, but your responsibility has never been to manage their journey. Your responsibility is to remain faithful to the love you have already accepted within yourself. When you do, you become living proof that true love always begins inside before it is reflected in the world outside. The love you feel in silence is not disappearing into the unknown. It is shaping you, preparing you, and quietly opening the door for the beautiful relationship that your heart has already embraced. Your silent emotional energy creates an invisible connection. Have you ever noticed that the strongest emotions are often expressed without a single word? A genuine smile can communicate hope, a peaceful presence can calm an anxious heart, and sincere love can be felt even when two people are separated by distance or silence. This is why the love you quietly nurture within yourself carries far more influence than constant effort, endless explanations, or the need to convince someone of your worth. When your heart is anchored in peace, gratitude, and the quiet expectation that love is already unfolding, you begin to create an invisible connection that starts with your own transformation. Rather than reacting to every circumstance, every delay, or every moment of silence with fear, you choose to remain emotionally aligned with the relationship you desire. That decision changes your entire experience. You stop living from uncertainty and begin living from confidence. You no longer ask, what if they never come back? Instead, you gently remind yourself, love is unfolding in the perfect way, even when I cannot yet see every step. This inner conversation becomes the foundation of your emotional world. Every thought repeated with belief strengthens your confidence, while every fearful assumption weakens it. The choice is always yours. The more often you return to thoughts of love, harmony, understanding, and mutual affection, the more those thoughts become natural. Eventually, they are no longer something you practice. They become who you are. Many people believe that silence means nothing is happening. They assume that if their specific person has not reached out, then nothing has changed. But appearances rarely reveal the entire story. Human hearts are complex. People often process emotions privately before expressing them openly. Sometimes understanding develops quietly. Sometimes appreciation grows after reflection. Sometimes the value of a relationship becomes clear only after distance has created space for deeper awareness. Because you cannot see another person's inner journey every moment, there is no benefit in filling the unknown with fear. Instead, fill it with loving expectations. Imagine your relationship becoming healthier, more peaceful, and more joyful. Imagine conversations flowing naturally. Imagine mutual respect replacing confusion. These gentle assumptions cultivate emotional stability within you, and that stability changes the way you show up in every part of your life. Your silent emotional energy is not about forcing an outcome or attempting to control another person's mind. It is about becoming so deeply rooted in love that fear no longer dictates your thoughts or actions. When you release desperation, you stop sending signals of lack to yourself. You begin acting like someone who already knows they are worthy of lasting commitment. You smile more freely, care for yourself more intentionally, pursue your goals with greater confidence, and enjoy life without constantly waiting for external validation. Ironically, this is often when relationships begin to transform because you are no longer seeking someone else to complete you. You are allowing love to flow from a place of inner fullness. Think of a calm lake at sunrise. Its surface is smooth, reflecting the beauty of the sky with remarkable clarity. But when the water is constantly disturbed, the reflection becomes distorted. Your mind works the same way. When it is filled with panic, overthinking, and fear, it becomes difficult to recognize opportunities, blessings, or positive changes. When your heart becomes calm, however, clarity returns. You begin to trust the process instead of resisting it. You understand that genuine love is strengthened through patience, emotional maturity, and unwavering faith rather than constant pressure. Every loving thought you intentionally choose is like placing another brick in the foundation of the future you desire. Every moment you refuse to entertain fear is a declaration that your peace matters more than temporary appearances. Every time you choose gratitude over anxiety, you strengthen your belief that love is already finding its perfect expression. Your specific person may have their own journey, their own lessons, and their own timing, but your greatest responsibility is to remain faithful to the loving state you have chosen within yourself. As you continue to live from that place of quiet certainty, you become a reflection of the very relationship you desire to experience. The love you carry in silence is not weak because it is unseen. It is powerful precisely because it transforms you first, and from that transformation, everything else begins to change in its own perfect time. Let go of fear and trust the unfolding process. One of the greatest obstacles to experiencing the love you desire is not distance, silence, or even unfavorable circumstances. It is fear. Fear has a way of convincing you that nothing is happening simply because you cannot see immediate results. It whispers that time is running out, that your specific person has forgotten you, or that the relationship you dream of is slipping away. Yet fear has never been a reliable guide. It speaks from past disappointments, insecurities, and imagined outcomes rather than present truth. If you allow fear to become the voice you listen to every day, it will constantly pull your attention toward what is missing instead of what is quietly developing beneath the surface. But the moment you decide to release fear and replace it with trust, everything begins to change. Trust does not mean pretending challenges do not exist. It means refusing to let temporary appearances define your permanent expectations. It is the quiet confidence that what you have accepted in your heart is already moving toward expression, even if the path remains unseen. This shift transforms waiting into peaceful anticipation and uncertainty into inner stability. Think about how every meaningful achievement in life requires a season of unseen preparation. A masterpiece is imagined before it is painted. A home exists as a vision before the first brick is laid. A tree spends months developing strong roots before its branches reach toward the sky. Love follows the same principle. The strongest relationships are rarely built overnight. They often grow through moments of reflection, personal growth, healing, and emotional maturity. If your specific person seems quiet or distant, it does not automatically mean love has disappeared. Sometimes silence creates the space where clarity is born. Sometimes people need time to recognize what truly matters. Sometimes the heart awakens slowly, discovering the value of a connection only after life has given it room to reflect. You cannot always witness that inner process, but you can choose not to interrupt your own peace by imagining the worst. Letting go of fear also means letting go of the need to control every detail. Many people exhaust themselves trying to predict when a message will come, how a conversation will unfold, or what another person is thinking every hour of the day. This constant mental struggle creates tension instead of peace. It shifts your focus away from becoming your best self and places it entirely on circumstances you cannot control. Real freedom begins when you release the urge to force outcomes and instead choose to trust that every step is unfolding at the right pace. Trust allows you to enjoy your present life while remaining confident about your future. It reminds you that your happiness is not postponed until someone else changes. You can experience joy, gratitude, confidence, and emotional fulfillment today, and that inner fulfillment naturally prepares you for the relationship you desire. When you replace fear with trust, your entire perspective changes. You stop seeing every delay as rejection and begin seeing it as preparation. You stop interpreting silence as abandonment and begin viewing it as a season where unseen changes may be taking place. You stop measuring your worth by external actions and begin recognizing that your value has always existed independently of anyone else's behavior. This is where true emotional strength is born. Instead of asking, "Why hasn't it happened yet?" you begin asking, "How can I continue becoming the person who naturally lives in love every single day?" That question keeps your attention where it belongs, on your own growth, peace, and confidence. Trust is not passive. It is an active decision you make every day. It is choosing loving thoughts when fear tries to take over. It is speaking kindly to yourself when doubt appears. It is refusing to let temporary setbacks define your future. It is believing that every experience is shaping you into someone capable of receiving the deep, healthy, and lasting love you desire. The more consistently you practice trust, the less power fear has over your emotions. Your heart becomes lighter, your mind becomes calmer, your expectations become brighter, and in that peaceful state, you no longer feel like someone desperately waiting for love. You feel like someone who already knows love is finding its way. The unfolding process may not always happen according to your preferred timetable, but it can still unfold beautifully. Stay faithful to the vision you hold in your heart, remain rooted in peace instead of panic, and remember that the love you feel in silence is never standing still. Even when you cannot see it, life is arranging moments, opening hearts, and preparing circumstances that may one day reveal just how much was happening behind the scenes all along. Become the version of yourself that naturally receives love. The greatest shift you can make on your journey toward love is to stop asking, "How can I make my specific person love me?" and begin asking, "Who am I becoming every single day?" This simple change in perspective transforms everything. Too often, people focus all their energy on changing another person's behavior while neglecting the one area they truly have influence over, their own identity. Yet every lasting relationship is built upon the foundation of the person you believe yourself to be. If you constantly see yourself as someone who is overlooked, abandoned, or difficult to love, your emotions will reflect those beliefs. You will search for signs of rejection, overanalyze every silence, and feel shaken whenever circumstances do not unfold exactly as expected. But when you begin to see yourself as someone who is naturally worthy of affection, commitment, respect, and lasting partnership, your entire way of living changes. You no longer seek love from a place of emptiness. Instead, you express love from a place of inner abundance. Your confidence becomes quiet rather than forced. Your peace becomes steady rather than temporary. and your heart becomes secure because it is rooted in the belief that love is part of who you are. Imagine waking up every morning with the deep certainty that you are already enough. You no longer compare yourself to anyone else. You no longer question whether you deserve to be chosen. You no longer believe that another person's temporary confusion determines your value. Instead, you begin your day with gratitude, expecting good things to unfold because you have accepted yourself as someone worthy of receiving them. This inner confidence changes the way you speak, the way you carry yourself, the way you make decisions, and the way you respond to life's challenges. Rather than reacting from fear, you respond from wisdom. Rather than chasing validation, you naturally attract respect because you first give it to yourself. This is not arrogance or pretending to be perfect. It is the quiet recognition that your worth has never depended on someone else's approval. As you continue becoming this stronger version of yourself, your relationship with your specific person also begins to transform. Instead of interacting from insecurity, you interact from calm assurance. Instead of trying to prove your value, you simply live it. Your conversations become more genuine because they are no longer driven by hidden fears. Your presence becomes lighter because you are not carrying the heavy burden of self-doubt. Even in moments of silence, you remain emotionally balanced because your happiness is no longer tied to immediate external responses. This emotional stability creates space for healthier communication, deeper understanding, and a stronger connection whenever your paths come together again. Becoming someone who naturally receives love also means treating yourself with the same kindness, patience, and compassion that you hope to receive from another person. Speak to yourself with encouragement instead of criticism. Celebrate your progress instead of focusing only on what still seems unfinished. Invest in your personal growth, your physical well-being, your dreams, and your peace of mind. Every act of self-respect reinforces the belief that you deserve a relationship built on mutual care and appreciation. The more you honor yourself, the less willing you become to settle for relationships rooted in fear, inconsistency, or emotional uncertainty. You begin expecting healthy love because healthy love now matches the person you have become. Remember that genuine attraction is not created by endless pursuit or constant persuasion. It grows naturally when someone encounters a person who is emotionally whole, confident, and authentic. The most magnetic quality you can possess is the quiet certainty that you are already complete, whether your desired relationship is visible today or still unfolding behind the scenes. When you embody this confidence, you stop living as someone waiting to be loved and start living as someone who knows love belongs in their life. That inner shift is incredibly powerful because it removes resistance and replaces it with peace. Your specific person may notice your calmness, your confidence, and your renewed sense of purpose. But even before they do, you will notice something even more important. You will feel different. You will experience greater joy, stronger faith, and deeper emotional freedom. You will realize that the version of yourself who naturally receives love has been within you all along, simply waiting to be awakened. As you continue choosing thoughts that affirm your worth and actions that reflect your self-respect, you become a living example of the relationship you desire. And when love finally appears in its fullest expression, it will not feel surprising. It will feel natural, because you have already become the person who was always ready to receive it. What is accepted in consciousness eventually becomes reality. Everything that becomes visible in your life first begins as something invisible. Every achievement starts as an idea. Every meaningful relationship begins with a belief. And every lasting transformation is born from a decision made within the heart. The same principle applies to love. Before your specific person expresses their feelings, before the relationship takes shape in the physical world, it must first become a reality in your own consciousness. This does not mean pretending or denying your current circumstances. It means choosing to place your attention on the love you desire instead of the fears you want to leave behind. Whatever you consistently accept as true within yourself gradually influences the way you think, feel, speak, and act. Over time, those inner patterns begin to shape your experiences. If you constantly accept the idea that you are unwanted or forgotten, your emotions will reflect that belief, and you will naturally look for evidence to support it. But when you deliberately accept that you are deeply loved, appreciated, and chosen, your entire inner world begins to reorganize around that conviction. Your confidence grows stronger, your peace becomes deeper, and your expectations become brighter, because you are no longer waiting for love to define you. You are allowing love to define the way you see yourself. Many people make the mistake of checking the outside world every day for proof that something has changed. They search for messages, analyze social media activity, replay old conversations, and wonder if their specific person is thinking about them. While these habits may seem harmless, they often keep attention fixed on uncertainty instead of possibility. The greatest breakthroughs happen when you stop allowing the outside world to dictate your emotional state. Instead, you choose to let your inner certainty become stronger than temporary appearances. Imagine carrying the quiet confidence that your relationship is unfolding exactly as it should, even if you cannot yet see every detail. That confidence changes the quality of your thoughts. Instead of asking, "Why hasn't this happened yet?" you begin saying, "Everything is moving in the right direction, even when I cannot see every step." That simple shift replaces struggle with peace and impatience with expectation. Acceptance in consciousness is not wishful thinking. It is the practice of repeatedly returning your attention to the reality you desire until it feels natural. At first, it may require intention because old habits of doubt often try to return. But every time you gently redirect your focus toward love instead of fear, you strengthen a new way of thinking. Over time, those loving assumptions become your default response. You naturally expect kindness instead of rejection, commitment instead of inconsistency, and harmony instead of conflict. Your emotional life becomes calmer because your inner foundation is no longer shaken by every circumstance. This steady confidence allows you to enjoy the present moment while remaining open to the beautiful future unfolding before you. As you continue living from this state of inner acceptance, you begin noticing subtle but meaningful changes. You react differently to challenges. You communicate with greater patience and wisdom. You become less interested in proving your worth because you already know your value. This transformation is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Whether your specific person reaches out tomorrow or months from now, you are no longer living in emotional lack. You are living from emotional abundance. That abundance influences every area of your life, attracting healthier relationships, greater opportunities, deeper joy, and stronger self-respect. Love becomes something you express naturally rather than something you desperately seek. Remember that every lasting relationship reflects the quality of the inner relationship you have with yourself. When you consistently accept that you deserve a love built on trust, mutual respect, loyalty, and genuine affection, you stop settling for less than that standard. You become emotionally available for the kind of connection you have always desired. Your heart remains open, but it is no longer controlled by fear. It is guided by faith, confidence, and quiet certainty. The love you feel in silence is not disappearing into empty space. Every loving thought, every moment of gratitude, every peaceful expectation, and every decision to believe in the best is shaping the person you are becoming. And as your consciousness continues to embrace the reality of love, your outer world begins to reflect that same truth in ways that often exceed your expectations. Trust the unseen process. Remain faithful to the vision you hold within, and remember that what you consistently accept in your heart today has the power to become the beautiful reality you experience tomorrow.